Hello, welcome to your 40-minute intermediate Vinyasa flow. We're going to jump right into it and begin by standing at the top of the mat, feet hip-width distance apart. Relax the arms alongside your body and begin to roll the shoulders up and back a few times. If it feels good, you can also roll the head, releasing any tension in the neck or upper body. And then from here, begin to take a couple deep, full breaths. So breathing in and out through the nose. And find stillness as you reground through your feet. Lengthen your spine and grow tall through the crown of your head. We'll move into a standing side bend. Stay rooted down through your left foot and cross your right leg behind your left. The toes may touch the outer edge of the mat. Place your right hand on your hip. Reach your left arm up and over as you take a bend to the right. Pushing your left hip out, keep your chest lifted slightly and breathe into the side body. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, release, right foot comes back. Ground down through your right foot, cross the left leg behind you, and the left hand comes to the hip. Reach the right arm up and over as you take your side bend on the opposite side. Breathe and try to relax your face. Come back up as you inhale and exhale, step the left foot back. Ground down evenly through your feet, interlace your hands behind your back into a fist. Bend your knees as if coming into chair pose. Sink the hips down. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and feel the stretch in your shoulders as you lift your heart up towards the sky. Take one more breath. And then come into chair pose. Knit the rib cage together. Engage your core as you pull your belly in towards your spine and extend the arms up overhead. Take one more breath. And then inhale, straighten the legs, reach the arms up, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands come to the legs. Exhale, fold. Twice more, inhale to lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Exhale, plant the hands and step back into plank. Option to drop the knees as a modification. Push the floor away with your hands, fingers spread wide, and then we'll move through a vinyasa. So as you inhale, shift forward on the toes, shoulders come past the wrists. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale for your back bend, either upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward dog. Come back to your breath. Begin to pedal out through the feet, walking out your downward dog by bending one knee at a time. Feel the stretch in the back of your legs as you continue to press down through the palms, letting the head and neck relax between the arms. Find stillness in your downward dog, and then we'll begin to move into spinal waves, moving with the breath. So as you inhale, lift the heels off the mat, roll forward into plank, and then bend the knees, send the hips back towards the heels, lift the hips, downward dog. We'll move through this a few more times. Inhale, roll forward into plank, round through the upper back. As you exhale, bend the knees, drop the belly slightly, and send the hips back, downward dog. Take 3 to 4 more rounds just like this, finding some fluidity in the spine. Maybe close the eyes and just tune into your breath. And the next time you roll forward into your plank, Lower the knees down to the mat, drop the belly down as if coming into cow pose, and then send the hips back towards the heels, rounding as if you're coming into cat pose. And then again, drop the belly, tailbone lifts towards the sky, send the hips back, and again, round forward. So we're finding these spinal waves from before, but moving from a tabletop pose. And we'll take 3 to 4 more rounds just like this, again, moving intuitively, so however feels good in your body. And then from here, you can start to shift the hips from side to side. Don't worry too much about what this looks like on the outside. Close your eyes and move with your breath. We'll move into puppy pose. Walk your hands forward, hips stack over the knees. Press your forearms down into the ground, lowering your chest and forehead as well. If you'd like a deeper stretch, you can place your chin on the mat, feeling the stretch in your shoulders and chest as you breathe deeply. With your next breath, come into Sphinx Pose, lifting the head, shift forward, and then lower the thighs and the pelvis down to the mat. Forearms parallel and elbows come under the shoulders. Open your heart as you push the forearms down and back into the mat. Come into frog pose for a quad stretch. Firm the pubic bone down and draw your belly in. Cross the right forearm in front of the body, bend your left knee and reach back to hold the top of your foot. Gently pull the foot in towards your left hip. Soften the top of your left thigh and just go as far as it feels comfortable for you. If this is too much or too deep of a back bend, you can reach your front arm forward a bit more to release intensity. Keep your chest open, front arm engaged. Take one more breath. And then slowly with control, release your left foot back and switch sides. Cross the left forearm in front of the body, bend your right knee, and reach back to grab a hold of the top of your foot. Gently pull the foot in towards your right hip, soften the top of your right thigh. Gaze forward and focus on your breathing as you feel the stretch in the thigh muscles and hip flexor. Take one more breath. And then slowly with control, release your foot back. Bring your hands to your outer ribs, hug your elbows in, and as you inhale, lift yourself up into upward facing dog. Roll your shoulder blades down your back, open your heart, and lift the sternum forward. As you exhale, roll over the toes, downward facing dog. Ground down through the hands and feet. Take a nice deep breath. Ground down through the left leg. Inhale, right leg lifts for three-legged dog. As you exhale, round forward, tap your right knee to your right tricep and hold. Inhale, three-legged dog, right leg lifts. Exhale, twist right knee to left tricep, hold, or option to extend the right leg out into fallen triangle. Pivot on your back foot, ground down through your right hand, reach your left arm up and over and open your heart towards the sky. Breathing wherever you are. Left hand comes down, come back into three-legged dog, right leg lifts as you inhale. Exhale, pivot onto the outer blade of your left foot and open up to the right for a side plank variation with tree legs. Bend the right knee, place your right heel towards your groin, ground down through the left hand and reach the right arm up. Breathe here. Now option to stay in side plank or move into wild things. Step the right foot back behind you, lift your heart towards the sky and reach the right arm back. Place your right hand down and step your right foot forward into low lunge. Drop your back knee. Reach your arms up overhead, palms touch, press the hips down. As you exhale, open the arms into cactus, bend the elbows and draw the shoulder blades together, gazing up at the sky. Inhale, reach the arms back up. Exhale, plant the hands down, come into half splits. Inch your right foot forward a few inches if needed, and then straighten out the right leg. Square off the hips, come up high on the fingertips, and then exhale, forward fold. We'll do that 3 more times. So inhale, lift the chest, gaze forward. Exhale, fold. Move with your breath. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale. Exhale. Hold here and take a few rounds of breath. Inhale, lift your chest, come back into a low lunge, reach the arms up. Exhale, twist to the right, right arm reaches behind you and left arm reaches forward. Reverse low lunge, right hand comes to the back of the left thigh. Breathe into the left side body as you reach your left bicep towards your ear. Place your left hand down inside of the right foot. Tuck the back toes under, lift your back knee, right shoulder stacked over the left shoulder, gazing up at the fingertips. Take 3 deep breaths. Now heel toe your right foot towards the outer edge of your mat with the toes pointed out. Roll onto the outer blade of your left foot and sink your hips down towards the mat. Extend your right arm, fingertips reaching for the back of the mat. Feel the stretch in the outer left hip and along your IT band. Lift your hips back up, spin on the back toes, face the front of your mat and come into pyramid pose. Hop your left foot forward as you straighten out both legs. Square off the hips and then fold over the right leg, breathing space into the hamstring muscles. Relax the shoulders, the head, and the neck. And then option to find a different variation by walking the hands towards the back of the mat and straightening out the arms. Inhale, walk your hands forward, lift your gaze and come into triangle twist. Left fingertips rest on the ground or on top of your right foot as you open your chest to the right and reach your right arm up. Take 1 more breath. And then plant your right hand down, spin open into warrior 2. Hips and chest face the left side of the mat and back foot spins parallel to the back. Gaze over your front middle finger. Flip your front palm, reverse warrior. Left hand rests on top of the back leg as you reach your front arm up and over. Extended side angle, right elbow rests on top of the right thigh or bring your right fingertips down to the ground as you reach your left arm up. Big side body stretch. Breathe. Reverse triangle, front leg straightens, left hand reaches for the back leg and right arm reaches up. Triangle pose, lean forward, right hand comes down as the left arm comes up. Gaze up at the fingertips. Prepare to come into standing splits. Place your left hand down, right hand to the outside of your right foot, spin on the back toes, hop your back foot forward, and then lean your weight towards the front of your mat. Lift your left leg up and come into standing splits, folding over the right leg. Option to wrap your right arm around the back of your calf. Breathe here. Come into a seated twist. Step your left foot back, coming onto the outer blade of your foot. Drop your left knee down behind your right heel and come into a seat facing the right side of your mat. Place your right hand behind you. Reach your left arm up, and then as you exhale, twist to the right. Hook your left elbow to the outside of your right knee and gaze over your shoulder. And gently untwist. Plant your hands at the front of the mat and step back into downward dog. Hips lift up high. Option to take a vinyasa here if you'd like, moving through your chaturanga and back bend. Otherwise, re-ground down through the hands and feet and settle into the stillness. Meeting in downward dog. Taking one more breath. Ground down through the right leg. Inhale, lift the left leg up for three-legged dog. As you exhale, round forward, tap your left knee to your left tricep and hold. Inhale, three-legged dog, left leg lifts. Exhale, twist the left knee to right tricep, hold, or extend the left leg out into fallen triangle. Pivot on your back foot, ground down through your left hand and open your heart towards the sky. Right hand comes back down. Come back into a three-legged dog. Left leg lifts as you inhale. Exhale, pivot onto the outer blade of your right foot. Open up to the left for a side plank variation with tree legs. Ground down through the right hand and reach the left arm up. Keep the core engaged and hips lifted high. Breathe. Stay here in side plank or move into wild things. Step your left foot behind you and lift your heart towards the sky, reaching your left arm up and back. Place your left hand down and step your left foot forward into low lunge. Drop your back knee and reach your arms up overhead, palms touch. Press the hips down. Feel the stretch in the right hip flexor. And then as you exhale, open the arms into cactus, bending at the elbows and drawing the shoulder blades together. Gaze up. Inhale, straighten out the arms, reaching them up. Exhale, plant the hands down, come into half splits. Straightening out the left leg, draw the left hip back slightly if you need to square off the hips, and then fold forward. We'll do this 3 more times, finding some movement. Inhale, lift the chest, gaze forward, and exhale, release. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Do this once more on your own. Holding after your last exhale. Think of drawing your belly closer towards your left thigh, crown of the head reaching for the toes. Inhale, lift your chest, come back into a low lunge, reach the arms up. Exhale, twist to the left arm reaches behind you and right arm reaches forward. Reverse low lunge, left hand comes to the back of the right thigh, reaching your bicep towards your ear, breathing into the side body, creating space in between the ribs. Plant your right hand down inside of the left foot, tuck the back toes under, lift your back knee. Left shoulder stacked over the right shoulder, gaze up at the fingertips. Breathing into the belly. And then begin to heel toe your left foot towards the outer edge of your mat with the toes pointed out. Roll on the outer blade of your right foot and sink your hips down. Fingertips reaching for the mat behind you, feeling the stretch in the outer right hip and along your IT band. Keep sinking the hips down to deepen the stretch. And then come back to center. Lift your hips, spin on the back toes, come into pyramid pose. Hopping your back foot forward, straightening out both legs. Square off the hips and then fold over your front leg. Relaxing your upper body. Maybe walking the hands towards the back of the mat to straighten out the arms. Lift your gaze and come into triangle twist. Right fingertips rest on the ground as you reach your left arm up towards the sky. Take a few deep breaths. Planting your left hand down, spin open into warrior two. Hips and chest face the right side of the mat. Back foot parallel to the back of the mat. Gaze over your front middle finger, keeping the weight even between the legs. Reverse warrior, flip your front palm, leaning your weight back. Keep the bend in your front knee. Come into extended side angle, finding your own variation as you breathe into the right side of the body. Keeping your chest open. One more breath. Reverse triangle. Use your core to lift yourself up. Front leg straightens. Right hand reaches for the back leg. Left arm reaches up. Triangle pose, lean forward, left hand comes down, right arm comes up. Standing splits, place your right hand down, left hand to the outside of your left foot, spin on the back toes. Begin to hop your back foot forward, lean your weight towards the front of the mat, and then lift your right leg up, folding over your left leg, maybe wrapping your left arm around the back of your calf, finding that deep hamstring stretch. Allow gravity to do the work here. Come back to your breath. Seated twist, step your right foot back, coming onto the outer blade of your foot. Drop your right knee down behind your left heel and come into a seat facing the left side of your mat. Place your left hand behind you, reach your right arm up and then twist to the left, hooking your right elbow to the outside of your left knee and gazing over your shoulder. Gently untwist, turn to face the back of your mat and come into butterfly pose. Soles of the feet together, open the knees, wrap the hands around the ankles. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. As you exhale, fold forward, releasing the head towards the ground. Option to gently press your elbows against the inner knees to open the hips up a little bit more. Relax your upper body completely and focus on your inhales and exhales. On your next inhale, come all the way back up. Draw the knees together, cross the ankles, and come onto the hands and knees. We're preparing to come into frog pose, so go ahead and lower down on the forearms. Now, if you're practicing underneath carpet, you should be fine here. Otherwise, if you're on hardwood floor or if you have sensitive knees, I'd recommend turning to face the long ways of your mat. So spread the knees as far as is comfortable and bring your heels out so that they're in line with the knees. Press your hips down and back to feel the stretch in the inner groin area. Keep the chest lifted and belly slightly engaged to protect your low back. So as you begin to settle into the stretch, just keep in mind this is a very deep hip opening posture, so just see if you can allow your breath to soften and release any tension in the body. Try to relax your face, your jaw, and just breathe into the stretch. With your next inhale, lift your gaze, shift your weight forward, shoulders come past the elbows, come onto the belly, and then begin to slowly slide the legs together. So the legs will straighten out behind you. Place the hands outside towards the outer ribs, rock the hips from side to side, and then press yourself up into upward facing dog as you inhale, finding a release in the low back. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Option to take one last vinyasa here to reset the body. Take it if you want to. We'll meet in downward facing dog. From downward dog, go ahead and drop the knees down to the mat. We're going to come into supported headstand as our inversion practice. If you're completely new to this posture, I'd recommend maybe taking a moment to pause, look at the screen, and listen to my cues. You can always move your mat and practice against a wall for support as well. But if you've practiced headstand before and you're comfortable getting into it on your own, feel free to go ahead and try it out. So first we're going to interlace the hands and tuck the bottom pinky underneath. Place your hands down in front of you, elbows shoulder width distance apart, grounding down through the outside of the forearms. From here, lift your hips up, walk your knees back, and place the crown of your head inside the cup of your hands. Your hairline should be touching the ground here, and your neck should feel completely supported. Now tuck your toes and lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Walk your toes in towards your body so the hips ideally come stacked above the shoulders. Keep your core super strong and engaged here and keep pressing down into the forearms to lift up out of the shoulder joint. So your shoulder girdle should be nice and stable here. Once the joints are stacked, core is engaged, lift your right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, place it back down. Inhale the left leg up, and then exhale, place it back down. Switch again, just lifting your legs up one at a time. And then as you do this, squeeze your core tightly and think of lifting your toes up off of the mat. Maybe even just a few inches. Maybe you can float your foot. And then if you can get your leg up, you're going to focus on finding your balance. Take your time here, there's no rush. And then think of drawing your knee into your chest and then lifting both legs up towards the sky. Point the toes and engage your whole body. Slowly come out of the pose the same way you entered it, one leg at a time. Drop the knees down and come into child's pose. You're more than welcome to pause the video and take more time to play with this inversion on your own. For now, we're going to rest here in child's pose for a moment. Just taking this time to tune back into your body and your breath. Come into a gentle twist. Slide the left arm under the right. Place your left cheek on the mat. From here, place your right hand to your right heel. And then as you inhale, lift the chest, lift the hips, and come into a half camel variation, reaching your left arm up and over, lifting up from the center of your chest and breathing deeply. On your next exhale, release back into child's pose. Slide the right arm under the left for a twist. Left hand to the left heel, lift your torso up, press the hips forward, half camel, reaching the right arm up and overhead, breathing into the heart space. Slowly exhale and release back into child's pose, taking one full round of breath here. Come all the way up to stand on the knees, bringing your knees hip-width distance apart. Option to tuck the toes here, preparing to come into half camel or full camel. Place your hands to your low back for support. Hug the elbows inwards and press the hips forward. Begin to lift the head back. Hold here or perhaps reach your hands back towards your heels. Taking about 3 deep belly breaths wherever you are. Keep pressing the hips forward and lifting from the sternum. Slowly come back up, bringing your hands back to the low back for support. And then send the hips back down to come into a seat. Close the eyes, pause, and simply observe. Take a gentle twist to the right. Right hand will come behind you, left hand to the right knee. And then twist to the left. Cross the ankles and come down to lay on the back. As you lay down, hug your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your shins, and just start to rock from side to side. Keeping the eyes closed. Cross your right leg over your left leg, coming into supine cow face pose, placing your hands on top of your feet. Hugging your knees close in towards your body, getting a stretch in the outer hips, relaxing your shoulder blades down into the ground. Come into eagle legs, so you'll cross the left foot around the right ankle or just simply keep the legs as they are here, and then we'll come into a supine twist. So you can lower your foot down to the mat and then drop the legs over towards the left side. Right hip stacked over the left hip, reaching the arms out wide. Try to relax your shoulder blades down into the mat. Gazing over the right shoulder and breathing here. Coming back through center, uncross the legs and switch sides. Crossing the left leg over the right leg this time, bringing your hands to the tops of your feet. Focus on releasing any tension throughout your body. Coming into eagle legs, wrapping the left foot around the right ankle this time, and then dropping the legs over towards the right. Open the arms out wide, bringing your chin towards your left shoulder, closing the eyes. Float the legs back through center, uncross the legs, hugging your knees in towards your chest one last time, giving yourself a hug. And then from here, slowly release your feet down to the mat, preparing to come into our final resting pose, Shavasana. If you'd like, you can find reclined butterfly pose. Let your arms rest alongside your body with your palms face up. The eyes remain closed. We'll find one cleansing breath here. So take a big breath in through your nose, and then open your mouth, big exhale out. Allow your body to completely surrender. Enjoy these next few minutes here in your Shavasana, and I'll call you back when it's time. And gently bring your awareness back to this space. Begin to deepen your inhales and lengthen your exhales. Finding small movement, wiggling the fingers and the toes. Reaching the arms up overhead, finding a full body stretch, pointing and flexing the feet. And then when you're ready, rolling over onto one side, coming into a fetal position. And then taking your time, making your way up into a comfortable seat. And just take a moment here to thank yourself for showing up on your mat today, for finding time to move your body into practice. Bring your hands together in prayer position at the center of your heart. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. Namaste. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next class soon.